Okay, this first story involves some people that are known and everything else, but I'm not fucking stupid, so I'm not going to use their goddamn names, alright? That just is what it is. I was on a podcast called Sitting Down with Stand-Ups. We went and did this comedy festival, right? We recorded a podcast interviewing people and shit, and I guess the whole thing was a fucking mess. We had access to everybody, but at the same point, the first 2 hours didn't get recorded live like they should have, and didn't go out over there like they should have. I guess this place that they were running, you know, the studio that they were doing out of it and all that shit, they had somebody from there come, you know, do the audio and all that, and it was just fucking bad. So they're telling me, and I can't take the shit. So we're outside. I think it's after the show. There's another one in that studio right then, and I'm just saying everything that they said, but I'm letting it all land on me. There's this little Weasley cocksucker that comes out. And here's what I'm saying. I know he's staring at me. I see him text, and I know what's going to happen, right? And I told him when that guy went in, I'm like, all right, that guy clocked me. He just said everything, and I've been shitting on this place because from what you told me, if half of it's true, which I'm sure it is, then we are the top rated show here. We are bringing them in money and advertisers. Yeah, you're taking a piece your own way because Marco Gonzalez, that crafty bastard, somehow found a way to be able to make money off of playing foreign commercials and making a game out of it, right? The guy wasn't an evil genius, but he knew how to make a dollar, let's put it that way. So the whole show was just a bunch of stand-ups, and then we'd have stand-ups come in, we'd talk to them, we'd play some dumbass games, and Marco set it up to where it was like a wrestling thing. No one knew. He was a big wrestling fan, everyone knew that, but they had me booked as the heel. I was always the bad guy, I was always the one fucking it up, I was always that weird angle, you didn't know where I was going to come from, but you knew I was going to fuck shit up. And I would piggyback off and all that, and I'd have fun, and I'd just do my own fucking thing, right? Well, even with that, and I'm not saying it was due to me, it was due to the mix of everybody, all the different personalities, besides one person in particular, which just a sleazy, slimy individual that I'm not going to say the name. Now, right, what happened is, yeah, the motherfucker snitched on me. Fine. No problem. The owners call the other members in and say, here's the deal. He can't be on anymore, or you can't be here. Well, eventually, the homies ended up moving somewhere else and starting their own company and shit like that. Awesome. No problems there. The replacement that they got for me, because they told me flat out what it was, and I know I was a fucking mess at the time anyway. I was drinking a lot and everything, and this was after probation, so you know what I mean. It wasn't the best time, wasn't the best mindset. Granted, I was a wild card, but not in the good fucking ways that you want. So, but I took that, and then they replaced me with the guy that I suggested, and all that. So, as you can tell, I'm not the kind of guy that I kind of shy away from some shit. Now, I respected Marco. Marco gave me a chance and everything else because my ex, I got her into doing stand-up. Somehow, after we broke up, she got on to doing the show as a co-host. They were looking for a guest. They invited me on. They got along with me real well, and I lived right in the area, right? Close enough to be able to get there easy enough on a regular basis. So, I'd show up, and do that. And Marco, unfortunately, may he rest in peace, passed away a few years ago. I wasn't in contact with him, but I wouldn't be in better contact with him than what I was. Let's just put it this way. The last time that we talked was that day. So, the day that we kind of went on ways. I've still talked to my ex since then. I talked to her probably within the past year or so. But, yeah. So, what happened is, there was two guys that really ran it. There was one guy that ran it and one guy that had his hands in it because he was his buddy and he wanted something to do and to get out of the house and all that shit, right? And the other main host of it gave it away to people that Marco actively fucking hated. He did not like them. Could not stand them. They were not on the show. He never wanted them on the show, and he wanted nothing to do with any of them personally. He even let it be known to me beforehand. I know that somebody was going through a lot, and that it was a lot to deal with, and it wasn't necessarily his show. He was invited on and became part of it and everything else, and that ride wasn't really his ride. He was just riding it with his boy. I get that. But, you know, everything he put into that shit, how it made money for you and your family, right? And, him and his, flatly. And then instead of saying, hey, I don't care if you sold it for a bit or anything else. The guy that you rode with, I know it may have not been for you, but you could have reached out to a few people. And they would have kept his legacy going and not turned into the fucking clown show it is now. So, because it's still going, last thing I knew, right? But with that being said, if you run something, if you start something, make sure it's yours. Make sure to do it your way, and when you hand it off, make sure the person you hand it off to is going to be doing the same thing. When I ran a magazine, I handed it off to somebody and they didn't do shit with it. Now, I'm at the point where if I'm done with something, it's dead. That's all there is to it. You know, I'll make little brands, shit like that, whatever. Be like, hey, slap that on your shit. Cool, what the fuck? You know, I don't give a fuck. But if it's yours, treat it as yours. Make sure you know it's yours, and everyone else does too. You get what I mean? So, there's a story for you.